If you're looking into Indiana debt relief and you're not sure what's actually real and what's just noise, this video is for you. The payments go out every month, but the balance barely moves. And you're sitting there wondering if there's actually a way forward or if this is just how it's gonna be. Hi, I'm Rob. I've been working in personal finance for 20 years, and I've worked with people right here in Indiana who needed real debt help. Not a list of options they could just Google themselves, but someone who could actually walk them through what debt relief options look like in Indiana and what to expect. And there's one specific thing about how these programs charge you that I want to make sure you hear before this video's over, because most people don't find out about it until they've already signed something. Let's get into it. When people search for debt relief programs in Indiana, they're usually looking at three main paths, but I want to be clear about this. They are not the same thing, and which one is actually right for you comes down to one factor that most people don't check first. Here's how they break down. Debt consolidation rolls multiple balances into a single loan, ideally at a lower interest rate. So if your credit is still in good shape and you can qualify for a rate that actually makes a dent, this can work very well. Debt management plans are different. Here, you work with a credit counseling agency and the focus is on repaying the full balance, usually over 3 to 5 years. And then there's debt settlement. That's not reorganizing what you owe or managing it. It's negotiating to resolve your debts for less than the full balance. So which one applies to your situation? It really comes down to three things: your credit score, your income, and how far behind you are on payments. Now, here's something I want to flag before we go any further. The rules around what debt relief companies can legally charge you are very specific. And I'll cover that in chapter 3 because honestly, it's the thing that matters most before you sign anything. But first, let me show you what actually happens inside a debt settlement program, because most people have the wrong picture of it. Most people who look into how debt relief works in Indiana don't end up moving forward. They stop because they think enrolling means handing over control of their money, but that's not how it works. Here's what actually happens. Instead of struggling with minimum payments, you would typically make one monthly payment into a dedicated account, an account in your name that you own and that you control. Federal law requires that, and when enough is accumulated, a negotiator works with each creditor to settle the account for less than what's owed. And every settlement offer comes back to you for review before a single dollar moves. Here's a real example. One Indiana Freedom Debt Relief member came in with significant charged off unsecured debt. Her accounts were settled for a fraction of what she owed, and she finished the program. Now, those are real results, but I also want you to go in with clear eyes. Missing payments while your fund builds will affect your credit score. Collectors may keep calling and in some cases escalate, and forgiven debt can be treated as taxable income. Look, these are real trade-offs. They don't disqualify the option, but knowing them up front is what keeps people from quitting halfway through. Most programs run 2 to 4 years, but many people see their first settlement within the first few months. Now, here's the part that I mentioned at the start. There's a federal rule that people searching for Indiana debt relief have never heard of. A debt relief company cannot legally charge you a fee before a debt is actually settled. You have to approve the settlement first, and at least one payment has to go to the creditor. They cannot charge you before any of that, only after. That's the law. So if any program asks you for money before a settlement has been reached and approved, walk away. That's it. That's the filter. Any legitimate program passes it. Any program that doesn't, isn't. So drop a comment below. Did you already know this, or is it your first time hearing it? So here are 3 things to take with you. Figure out which debt settlement path actually fits your situation, because debt consolidation, a debt management plan, and debt settlement are not interchangeable. Know that in the debt settlement program, the account and every approval stays with you the entire time. And before you sign anything with any program, ask them one question: when you collect your fee? And if you want to know whether any of this applies to your actual situation, head over to freedomdebtrelief.com. You can get a free evaluation with no obligation. Just an honest conversation about your numbers and your options. Now, if this was helpful, hit subscribe and tap that notification bell. I share new debt relief topics every week. You came here looking for Indiana debt relief. Now you know exactly what that means.